Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Christina Worcester, and I promise I did not forget about the reading roundup. I've just been crazy busy over the past few days. So I read 3 books in March, which is a little bit below average for me, but if you have been following along, I am still ahead in my Goodreads reading challenge, so that's good. I'm about 7 books ahead of schedule there, so it's okay to have a weaker month in there. The first book I read in March was Our Vicious Oaths by N.E. Davenport. Enter a new world of romantic fantasy from award-winning author N.E. Davenport, a journey of powerful magic, enemies to lovers, and political intrigue as a warrior princess and a vengeful king from rival fate courts form a fierce alliance to take down a merciless despot. Princess of the Aether Dominion, Kadisha wants nothing to do with Fae politics. She is a warrior first and foremost, and believes her greatest strength is leading her squadron of elite winged serpent flyers to protect her homeland. But bound since infancy to be betrothed to the Hyperion High King, ruler of all dominions, she has no choice but to do what men have chosen for her. Repulsed by the idea, she decides to spend one last night of freedom in the arms of a dangerous stranger who takes her to sexual heights she's never experienced before, but who is only using Kadisha to set a trap for the High King. For the High King and the kings of his 6 dominions were responsible for the decimation of the Apollyon court, and its new king Malachi wants his pounds of flesh. On Kadisha's wedding day, Malachi and his special forces attack. Her father is killed, and Malachi wounds the High King, ultimately taking Kadisha as a hostage back to his land. But she is no true hostage. The two form a pact. She will help lure the High King so Malachi can kill him once and for all, and he in turn will not harm Kadisha or the Aether people. And as much as Kadisha hates politics, she is now the queen of her folk. Fae bonds are unbreakable, and so perhaps is the attraction Kadisha and Malachi feel for each other. For even as they must publicly display their connection to provoke the High King's jealousy, they struggle to resist the powerful allure between them in order to achieve their ultimate goals. Words cannot really describe how R-rated this book truly is in terms of its sexual content. The actual plot, which admittedly there wasn't much of, was actually pretty interesting. I would recommend this for people who were fans of the Cruel Prince trilogy, which I guess is a 5-book series, but also really like spice in their books. Next up, we have Scream With Me by Eleanor Johnson. A compelling, intelligent, and timely exploration of the horror genre from one of Columbia University's most popular professors, shedding light on how classic horror films demonstrate larger cultural attitudes about women's rights, bodily autonomy, and more. In May of 2022, Columbia University's Dr. Eleanor Johnson watched along with her students as the Supreme Court reversed Roe v. Wade. At the same time, her class was studying the 1968 horror film Rosemary's Baby, and Johnson had a sudden epiphany. Horror cinema engages directly with the combustive politics of women's rights and offers a light through the darkness and an outlet to scream. With a voice as persuasive as it is insightful, Johnson reveals how classics like Rosemary's Baby, The Exorcist, and The Shining expose and critique issues of reproductive control, domestic violence, and patriarchal oppression. Scream With Me weaves these iconic films into the fabric of American feminism, revealing that the true horror often lies not in the supernatural, but in the familiar confines of the home, exposing the deep-seated fears and realities of women's lives. While on the one hand a joyful celebration of seminal and beloved horror films, Scream With Me is also an unflinching and timely recognition of the power of this genre to shape and reflect cultural dialogues about gender and power. I enjoyed this book for it being a nonfiction book. I thought it was interesting. I thought the way it talked about the intersection of these movies with the real world events was interesting. It was also short, and you know I like that. I don't know that I would choose to read it over a fiction book, but I mean, as far as nonfiction books go, if you're looking for one to read for whatever reason, I would recommend this one. As long as you're not easily triggered by topics such as sexual assault and rape, because they're present in the movies that are talked about in the book. So they come up quite a bit. And lastly, we have A Song for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. This is one of my 25 before 25 books. It is also the first book in the monk and robot duology. Centuries before, robots of Panga gained self-awareness, laid down their tools, wandered en masse into the wilderness, never to be seen again. They faded into myth and urban legend. Now the life of the T-monk who tells this story is upended by the arrival of a robot, there to honor the old promise of checking in. The robot cannot go back until the question of what do people need is answered. But the answer to that question depends on who you ask and how. They will need to ask it a lot. Chambers' series asks, in a world where people have what they want, does having more matter? I liked this book. I thought it was cute. It was fun. Nothing particularly life-changing. I liked the main characters. There wasn't much in the way of plot, but it's also only a 4-hour audiobook, so I kind of expected that. So yeah, don't read this if you are more of a plot-heavy reader. Yeah. Also for this video, I thought I would do a first quarter check-in on my 10 before the end of 2026. So the first book I had was Say a Little Prayer by Jenna Voris. I did read that. Next up is The Seven Torments of Amy and Craig. I read that as well. Celestial Monsters by Aidan Thomas, haven't read yet. The Blonde Dies First by Joelle Wellington, haven't read yet. True Life in Uncanny Valley by Deb Coletti, haven't read yet. Under the Same Stars by Libba Bray, have read. Glorious Rivals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, have read. Sherwood by Megan Spooner, have not yet read. Patron Saints of Nothing by Randy Rebay, have not yet read. And The Secret History by Donna Tartt, I have not yet read. So that is 4 out of the 10 books done in the first quarter of the year, which is a little bit above where I needed to be by this point in the year, which is good. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You're the best!